Hey, what's going on YouTube world? Sebastian here with Spin Driving School. In today's video, we are going to talk about boulevards, mainly the Burnaby Boulevard, which is Boundary Road, which also divides Burnaby from Vancouver. So it's essentially a border. Boulevards can be a little bit tricky. There are different ways of getting through them depending on how they're laid out, positioned, sectioned, and signed. So always, pay attention to the signs. Some of them have traffic lights. Some of them, a lot of them actually don't. They have those what we call neutral zones where there are no lines whatsoever in the middle. So in that case, you are basically staying to the right of center. If there are any lines, then you just use it as any other intersection. There are some with turning lanes, which I will go through those in the video as well. But yeah, anyways, let's just get right to it. So a couple of pictures here. So essentially a boulevard is like the section, one 2-lane road with these neutral zones in the middle. Usually it's like a grassy knoll or some trees in the center. In this one, there's no U-turn, so some of them you can't do U-turns. Legally, you can actually do a U-turn in the boulevard or through a boulevard in some cases, unless it's prohibited. So we are going to make a lane change first here, and then we're going to be making a left turn through a boulevard. So when you make a left turn through a boulevard, 99% of the time, in most cases, you're technically you're making a left turn. So you're not making the U-turn. So when they ask you to make a left turn at a boulevard, you're turning into the street that would be, I guess, perpendicular to you. And again, I know that can be a little bit confusing. In this particular one, actually, there are some signs that prohibit you from turning between certain times of the day. So always pay attention to those signs, as I said earlier, because some of them mean different things. This one, I think it's from 9:30 till 11 or something like that. So you just put on your signal, you still do your left shoulder check, you treat it like any other intersection essentially, and you are positioning yourself on the right side of center, so that way you're keeping the left side clear for other cars turning into you. And right now we're yielding to the cars only coming from the right hand side, because this is a one-way street essentially, and pedestrians crossing in front of you if there are any. If not, you can just keep moving. You don't have to stop in these neutral areas. It is not necessary, but you do have to stop if you're yielding to something or someone, like vehicles or pedestrians. So it is a neutral zone. There are no stop signs in those in most cases. In this situation, I am going straight through. So I'm scanning both ways. Certainly there's a stop sign there. So I'm yielding to the cars coming from the left-hand side. And these are all 2-lane roads, right? So you have to make sure that if you're going to be turning, that you're turning to the proper lane. Now, in this case, that car there has the right of way because he doesn't have a stop sign. So I have to be yielding to him in this case, especially because I'm going straight. But he waves me through, so I oblige and I proceed onward. So if someone waves you through, if someone gives you the right of way in those situations, even if you have a stop sign, make sure that you scan both ways, make sure that it's clear, but you can take him upon that request if you wish to do so. You can also wave him through and get him to go through as well. In this case, I'm making a left turn. So this is how you make a left turn through the boulevard. So I'm not turning left here because this is a one-way street. I'm scanning both ways. I'm positioning myself to the right of center. I'm just pumping my brakes here. There are cars coming from the right-hand side. I am yielding to them, and the car across the street, if there were one, they have a stop sign. Making the left turn to the lane that's closest to me. So just like any other turn, any other intersection, always turn to the lane that is closest to you or to the curb. And also this one here is a little bit tricky. This is, again, there are 2 lanes in this boulevard here, and the left one here is definitely a lot narrower. So going through that intersection can be a little confusing. Making the left turn, coming up here. So I'm going to position myself to the left side, or to the left side of that vehicle, right of center. Now I'm yielding to the cars coming from the right hand side. It's clear. I'm proceeding onwards. So again, you don't have to stop in these neutral zones unless you have a reason. Cars or pedestrians or cyclists or all of the above. Next, we are going to be making a right turn into the boulevard. So it's just like any other right turn. We have a stop sign in this case. Full stop, off we go. We'll do another left turn to the next street this time. So as always, signal, shoulder check, again to the right of center. Depending on the size of these neutral areas, and see in this case I did not stop, I just basically cruise right through because there's no reason for me to stop. So only stop when you have a reason. Now I believe here I'm going to be making a left turn up Boundary and then a right on Hastings. There you go, that car has the right of way, so I'm yielding at my stop sign. It's clear, I'm going to position myself in the center. This car here is actually cutting it a little bit close, so when you're going into these neutral zones, make sure that you go nice and wide. So I'm making the left turn. Because I'm making the right turn immediately after that, I'm turning a little bit wide here, so I'm going to the center lane, then I'll make a lane change, and I'm going to make a right turn onto Hastings, and then we'll get into some more Boulevard scenarios and situations after this. Here we go. I'm going to be making a left turn. So once again, you're never going against traffic. And I'm going to be sitting here at this stop sign probably for 20 seconds or so. So it doesn't matter how long you wait there. You wait for a good safe gap. You only go once it's safe. If you can't see, inch forward as much as you can. Scan both ways. So I'm just going to pump my brakes here. And we're cruising. There was no one coming down the hill. Again, if your visibility is bad or low, or if you can't see, if you stop or slow down or even pump your brakes in those cases, that's fine. It's all about visibility, just like with any other intersection. We'll be making a left turn here. So left signal, left shoulder check. And we are stopping for the cars coming from the right-hand side. Looks clear. Off we go on to the next adventure. So now this was you can call it the lower Boundary Boulevard. Now we'll do a couple of videos on the upper section. So we're turning left here. Now in this case we have traffic lights, which is, again, it's not very common, but also depends where you are. Different cities, different municipalities, etc., etc., they're going to be laid out differently. So, you know, depending on the city you live in, these things might be laid out and structured a little bit differently. This is a double turning lane as well, so make sure that you are turning to the proper lane in this case. Now here there's a bus that is sticking out a little bit, but I do have a little bit of room here, so I'm just going to go a little bit to the right, slightly past him. In this video, actually, I have the back view camera set up, and we'll get into that in a second. So there you go, this boulevard has a left turning lane, so I'm going into the left turning lane, and in this case, I'm actually staying on the left-hand side. The reason being because there is no left turn from the boulevard from the other side, or onto the boulevard from the other side. So this is why this is a little bit different and more, I guess, unusual. There's a safe gap. Here we go. And if you see, the car behind me still makes it through. Now that's cutting a little bit close. There you see the angle, you know, maybe 2-3 seconds. So make sure that when you take these gaps through these boulevards, or any gaps through any intersection, make sure that they're nice and safe and you have lots of space. Full stop, making the right turn. So again, this is coming the other way now. So I was where that car is up ahead. You cannot make a left turn in this case, so we're only making a right turn, just like any other right turn. So make sure that you're paying attention to the signs, to the road markings, and you know, things like that. The more you drive in these situations and experience them, the better you're going to be. I mean, that just goes, you know, just like anything else. And I'll be making a final right turn from the boulevard just to a side street. Right signal, right shoulder check, as with any other turn, and we are done. I do hope that this is going to be a helpful video. And just one more note, if you are going to make a U-turn on your road test in the boulevard, which again, it is legal in most cases unless there's a sign, it just really depends on the examiner. Some examiners will let it go, some of them won't. So if you're asked to make a left turn, you're making an actual left turn unless you were given different directions. Stay safe, keep practicing. Thank you for your support, and see you on the next adventure.